This recording, it's of a phone call she says she had with her son. He's pleading for her to send money.
I would prevent if I could. I just don't have the money that they are asking for.
They gonna me while they actually gonna.
I lost my business and my home.
DC, the voice, Alabama Prisoner Profiles. What's going on with y'all, man? Make sure y'all like, subscribe, share the video, comment on the video, and donate to the Cash App or PayPal if you're feeling generous. Tell you, man, the channel has reached 8,000 subscribers, man, and 1 million views, man, over the past week, man. I appreciate y'all for your continued support. Shout out to everybody that's been riding from the beginning, as well as the new subs, man. I love y'all. I really enjoy doing this. So big love to y'all, man. Now today, we have a CBS News report that I'll be reacting to on the violence within one of the state's worst maximum security prisons. Let's hop right into that right now.
Tonight, a CBS 42 special report. So far this year, nearly 24 people have died at Donaldson Correctional Facility, raising the question, what's going on inside of the prison? Over the last several months, I've been talking with families about the conditions and treatment of inmates at Donaldson. It's a growing trend that has many families of incarcerated people scared for their loved ones' lives. We do have to warn you, some of the footage in this story might be disturbing.
We had no idea at the time that took place it was going to turn into a death sentence under the hands of the ADOC.
Alabama prisons in a state of crisis.
They are murderers. They're protecting murderers. They are protecting drug dealers. They are protecting extortionists.
Families say their concerns about loved ones being killed inside prisons are falling on deaf ears.
When people commit a crime, they lose their freedom. They don't lose their humanity. They don't lose their right as a human being.
It's not just pleas from these families on the outside. It's a cry for help from the inside. CBS 42 obtained this video from inside Donaldson Correctional Facility. It's showing one.
So as y'all can see, man, these families are fed up, and shout out to the family members that are on the front lines in Montgomery at these parole meetings, oversight committee meetings, and other department shit, where y'all get the opportunity to get in these people damn face like, look what you did to my son, husband, brother, boyfriend, father, family members. We must continue to hold these damn folks accountable and demand answers while reaching in these folks' pockets with the lawsuits.
Inmate stabbing another.
And I mean, how has it gotten to where this is acceptable in our society, that this is how we can treat humans?
Families say incidents like this are not uncommon in Alabama prisons, specifically at Donaldson Correctional Facility. It's a level 5 maximum security prison meant for incarcerating the most violent and highest classified offenders.
When I found out he was at Donaldson, I was very concerned. The reputation of that prison has been horrible ever since I've known about it, which has been probably 20 years.
Carla Tinley's son, Jerry Witten, spent about 4 years at Donaldson. He was arrested on drug charges as a repeat offender. He was sentenced to life without parole, landing him at Donaldson.
If you read the papers, you know that they have people murdered there regularly.
Tinley's son had several health conditions when he was sentenced, including Parkinson's, blindness, and balance issues. She says over the years, his health has significantly declined.
Y'all can see another issue highlighted is the inadequate sustenance and or food, as well as medical care. If you got a medical issue coming into the Alabama Department of Corrections, you can pretty much hang that shit up and start making funeral plans, especially if it's life-threatening. We've seen countless pictures and videos of prisoners deteriorating, looking like they weigh half of what they did when they came in at. And a great example of this is Mr. Casey White, which I did the video on over the weekend, in which he reacted to his Netflix special. And in the video, he looks like he's deteriorating from health issues and or drugs.
They are not able to keep him safe in that environment. They had him in the general population, and he was beaten, I'm told, unrecognizable by other inmates over a food box.
You have prisons where officers are just not in the dorms. If you have dorms where there are no officers present, it's a recipe for disaster.
Eddie Burkhalter is a researcher at Alabama Appleseed. It's a nonprofit prison reform advocacy group. He says inmates are literally fighting for their lives.
Donaldson right now is going through a severe crisis. They're in a constant state of crisis, and it's only getting worse.
He says Alabama prisons, specifically Donaldson, are seeing an uptick in deaths.
We've seen a rash of deaths there, lots of attacks. It's clear that ADOC does not have that prison under control, and I haven't seen anything to make me believe that it's going to get any better anytime soon.
So far this year, 23 people have died at Donaldson. That's compared to the 28 deaths reported last year, which was a record high for the facility.
Man, Exhibit 38. C-521, man. 24 people dead at one facility this year alone, and we still got 2 months to go. No officers in the door, staff shortages leading to more violence because of no supervision. The same old song, man. Dear grandma.
In 2019, the Department of Justice released this 58-page report detailing their findings from a 2017 investigation into Alabama prisons. They released a second report in 2020. Those reports say ADOC correctional officers routinely fail to provide safe conditions, stating severe overcrowding and understaffing as contributing factors.
Alabama Department of Corrections was ordered by a judge in 2017 to hire 2,000 additional officers. It's been 7 years and there's been no real substantive change. Folks inside prisons will tell you that the officers don't operate those prisons. They're controlled by the folks who live there.
I reached out to the Department of Corrections for an interview. They declined a sit-down interview with Commissioner John Hamm, but I was invited to attend a correctional officer graduation in Selma. I was told I could ask him questions there.
Overcrowding and staffing issues and violence have been a concern in Alabama prisons. Do you feel the state of prisons, specifically Donaldson, is in a state of crisis because of that?
No, I don't. As you see today, we graduated 55 correctional officers that are going throughout the state, where a lot of them are going to Donaldson, so we're actually seeing an uptick in our recruiting and our hiring, so we feel good about the trajectory we're going on.
Now, how in the hell you don't think that's an issue, man? 55 officers, that ain't nothing. And they say you need to hire 2,000. Those 55 is probably going to just one facility, or at least a good chunk of them are. I guess any progress is better than none, but they ain't hired half that amount, close to 2,000, man. SMH.
However, families of people incarcerated at Donaldson feel little has been done to correct the violence their loved ones face. One of the findings of that DOJ report states that ADOC routinely fails to protect inmates from prisoner-on-prisoner violence and sexual abuse.
Throughout my investigation into violence and conditions inside Donaldson Correctional Facility, I've met several families. This mother says she is in constant fear for her son's life.
There's a lot of gang violence. There's actually a gang war going on right now.
Latasha Williams' son was incarcerated at Donaldson earlier this year. She says she's experienced extortion from inside the prison. Listen to this recording. It's of a phone call she says she had with her son. He's pleading for her to send money.
I would prevent rape if I could. I just don't have the money that they are asking for.
They gonna rape me, Mom. They actually gonna.
I lost my business and my home, gone through my grandmother's, my dad's retired.
Jesus H. Christ. Y'all remember I played this audio like 6 months ago before an episode when I heard it in a Facebook group, if I'm not mistaken. I believe this woman's son is also in a wheelchair, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but hot damn, parents, regardless, out there, can you imagine your child hauling you and telling you that shit and ain't nothing you can do about it for the most part? That won't lead to your kid being hurt further unless you make enough noise, bother enough people, blow up enough phone lines with different people calling about the same shit until they get tired and finally do something. Insane.
They don't feel their loved ones are protected from sexual violence, from physical violence. Many of these families are extorted for thousands of dollars to try to keep their loved ones safe. They feel that there's nowhere to turn.
He's been stabbed over 60 times, his nose broken, his teeth knocked out, his finger severed, his ear severed. There's been a lot of incidents.
Incidents documented in these videos Alabama Appleseed shared with us of inmates in dangerous situations.
That's a dead body. That blood coming out the side of your head on the bottom.
Although ADOC invited me to that graduation to interview Commissioner Ham about the conditions at Donaldson, he refused to answer my question about the videos.
We obtained a video showing some inmate violence. Would you mind to comment on that?
I'm not going to. It's about graduation today. We're not going to keep dragging up. We know we have violence, but it's about the graduation.
Again, the Department of Corrections said this would be my opportunity to ask questions.
And so, as y'all can see, man, this is the type of runaround family members are getting from the department, man. From the very bottom of knuckle-dragging COs to the tip-top position of commissioner, they don't want to talk, man. Federal government, where you at?
What about stopping the death and stopping the dying?
This is video of a packed crowd at the state capitol for this year's Joint Prison Oversight Committee in July. Family after family detailing heartbreaking stories about the treatment of inmates and conditions of Alabama prisons. Representative Chris England is on the Joint Prison Oversight Committee. He's been working to try to address these issues in the legislature.
And how would you describe the state of Alabama prisons?
Unconstitutionally inhumane. 100% full-on crisis mode.
Representative England says during the 2024 legislative session, a bill was passed to create a liaison for families of incarcerated people, but says more needs to be done.
But it is heartening to see that, we passed legislation last session, but we got so much more to do. Our parole system is broken. Criminal justice system itself is fundamentally broken.
The Joint Prison Oversight Committee was created to give families a chance to voice their concerns directly to lawmakers. It's a bipartisan group that meets 4 times a year to discuss solutions. Governor Kay Ivey, Attorney General Steve Marshall, and ADOC Commissioner John Hamm also serve on the committee, none of which showed up for the meeting in July.
So as y'all can see, man, they barely give a damn. We're going to say they're occupied by department business when this committee is created by the legislature to hear the concerns of these family members of endangered and deceased inmates, man. Come to think about it, they probably don't even show up because motherfucker probably try to slap the shit out of one of their ass or catch them walk to their car. My son dead, goddammit. Dead grandma.
Why weren't you at that meeting?
I had surgery.
I can tell you, since I've been here, the only thing that's changed is that it's gotten worse. While you're turning up the heat on the legislature, you make sure you let the executive branch know that we're not stupid, too. Like, we know that you're responsible for this, and you can do more.
And the families of incarcerated people agree.
Commissioner Hamm stands up here and he makes it all sound like rainbows and butterflies. Well, how many deaths occur in lockup?
Do you have a message for families? I know a lot of families are concerned about the conditions.
Not at this time. I mean, I'll address that at the next Prison Oversight Committee meeting.
Is you gonna be at the next one, Ham Sandwich? Yeah, you talking about? Somebody clip this, man. I might cover it. What is this? The 23rd is next week, man. Come back and let me know if these folks show up to this oversight committee meeting, man.
The next meeting is set for October 23rd. England says he plans to sponsor several bills this upcoming session in hopes of making more progress.
Every prison sentence is not a death sentence, but in Alabama, any sentence could be a death sentence.
In June of this year, 4 people, including inmate DeAndre Roney, died inside of Donaldson in one weekend. The Jefferson County coroner ruled Roney's death a homicide. Autopsy reports state he died from a stab wound to the head. According to Alabama Appleseed, Roney was 150 days away from completing his 20-year sentence. In November, he would have celebrated his 40th birthday as a free man.
The Alabama Department of Corrections sent me a statement about Roney's death. That statement reads in part, quote, "The ADOC Law Enforcement Services Division is investigating the case as a homicide based on the autopsy results. A suspect has been identified, but no further information is available given that the investigation is still open."
Man, I hear cartoon talk about how people get extra time added for these assaults and unalivings that they take place, and I don't ever hear nothing about anybody getting sentenced to extra time. Now, I've only been doing this for like a year and a half, man, but let me know if y'all know someone that's actually been prosecuted by the state for taking a life inside the Alabama system within the last 10 years, man. Let me know, man. My observation, motherfuckers just go to lock up for a little while, then they kick them out somewhere else, usually somewhere worse if they can. Dear grandma.
Commissioner Ham says ADOC has invested heavily in recruitment and retainment of officers to help with staffing issues. After our interview at the graduation, I did send additional questions to Commissioner Ham about contraband drugs and other concerning activities that are happening inside of prisons. You can read his responses to those questions on this story on our website. That's CBS42.com.
Carly, a really good look inside Donaldson. Your investigation really looks specifically at Donaldson, but are the problems you highlighted unique to Donaldson?
Hell no to the no. These issues statewide, man, from work release to death row. Them family members in these meetings is from all over the state, B.
Yeah, no, that meeting that I attended, you heard from several families with loved ones in several different Alabama prisons. A lot of them have the same concerns about extortion, violence, sexual abuse. Many who are left without answers about their loved ones that have died inside of prisons. So that next meeting, again, it's going to be coming up next Tuesday there in Montgomery.
All right, Carly, important story, really seeking solution.
And there y'all have it, man. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section, man. Once again, thank y'all for 8K and 8 million views. The situation in our state's prison system continues to be way past an emergency or dire, man. Like, sub, share, donate to the platform. DC The Voice, Alabama Prisoner Profiles.